Welcome to the Divine Feminines podcast and channel. I'm your host, Steph Desart, and in today's episode, I'm sharing powerful ways to protect your energy. Yes, this is a really pertinent one. I feel like I've been having to just look at that myself lately, and I've been doing it a lot, but I think that there's always new ways and new challenges that come up in our journey where we need to kind of look at it candidly and go, am I doing this right? Can I change it up? How do I need to approach this? Because there's new experiences. There's always a higher timeline or a new test or obstacle or just exploration that we're going on in our journey. So I'm going to share these powerful ways. I hope that they're going to serve you well. And, if you have any thoughts or feedback, you can share them with me. But before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. It's The Divine Feminines on YouTube. We're also on all major podcast platforms at Apple, Google, Spotify. And we're on TikTok and Instagram. That's Divine Feminines with a Z at the end. Now, why like and subscribe this channel? Well, on YouTube especially, you get bonus content. So you get the episodes every Friday on all podcast platforms. But then on YouTube, you get extra content on the moon, portals, and any other extra sort of energy updates that I want to share. So actually, if you like Spotify and you like listening on Apple and stuff like that, do it, subscribe, but also tune into YouTube because I've got some great stuff there and you get to see my lovely face, and I'm sure you like to see me sometimes. I like to see me sometimes too. Right, so protecting your energy. I'm going to share something with you guys. Like, I have felt that we've been going through some major portals lately. I mean, in recent times, we've had the Lionsgate portal, and that was lasting for quite some time. Before that, we had the 7-7 portal, or 887766. I mean, ever since sort of the 6-6 portal earlier this year, I was like, no, I need to really hone in on cultivating my energy and kind of focusing in on myself and doing a lot more solitude and self-reflection. And it's been fantastic. In that time, I've still been with you guys because I've been recording, but in the sort of typical outside world, I have actually been very sort of, let's say, to myself. I've been sort of out there, but not really, and I think it was really necessary, and it continues to be very necessary. And I'm continuing to experience where I need to kind of cultivate my energy, protect it, and not saying that, oh, this person's really bad or that situation's toxic and it's horrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, there can be instances, but generally I live quite a peaceful life and I've been working really hard to cultivate that. But it doesn't mean that in my day-to-day I won't come up against some moments where I'm like, oh, so I was having to, even though, I was saying to myself, oh, I'm quite self-mastered in this space, but I'm actually having to, revisit and kind of, not revisit, but look at a new scenario that's cropping up, because you meet new people, you experience new situations, and you find yourself in new circumstances. And so it's asking for a new evolved version of you to show up, and you're learning new things. So wherever you're at in your journey, it doesn't matter, because we're all on this journey and everyone's individual journey is unique to them, but our energy is super powerful. I know you guys agree with me on that one. It is super powerful, and it's super important to make sure that we are protecting it, cultivating it. It's a bit like self-love rituals, because I think cultivating our energy and protecting our energy is part of that self-love kind of a ritual and routine. Taking time to recharge, being sure about where we want to give ourselves. There's a lot going on. There's been a lot going on in the last how many years, but as I've spoken before, New Earth is really taking its form, and a lot of us New Earthers, like I like to call it, are really putting our ourselves into that dimension, aligning in that timeline and paradigm. But there are old Earth timelines that will try to pull us back. I mean, look, I'm not telling you guys that you have to be in high vibration all the time, right? Because I was talking about this many a times with many other soul tribe. We're in polarity. We have to experience both high and low vibrations, right? You can't be operating a high vibration all the friggin' time, ladies, I know when we have our PMS or we get that time of the month, we might feel a bit emotional, or even when it's a full moon, to guys and girls, we might want to release some emotions. I know when there's a full moon, I'll just cry anyway. I'll just cry anyway because I've got cancer in my chart, and I'm watery, so it is what it is. But there's times where we have to really look at where we need to kind of change it up, where we have to listen to our emotions and see what our emotions and our physical body and our mental health and body are telling us. And we have to understand that there will be times where we have to release those emotions. And actually, it's in releasing those emotions, it's in the crying that we can level up to a higher vibration. But I always like to call it our center point. If you know that that's your center point, right, and you vibrate here and you're having some moments of joy and it's great, and then but you always know that that's your center point, right? Like, so if you do get pulled down, and it could be because you're having a really bad day, you feel a bit emotional, you're not feeling so well, whatever it is, something might have happened and it's quite sad news. You might be over here, okay, fine, but if you can go back into your center point at some point, you will always, that's like your home, it's like base, like if you were, I don't know, out in the woods, hear me and my analogies, out in the woods, and you know where the cabin is, and you go and explore the woods, but you know where to go back to every time. It's that kind of thing, like where the home center base is, right? Yeah, my analogy on that one was a bit crazy. I think that's me sharing one of my dreams. I just want to be in the woods exploring and almost being lost like a horror movie. Yeah, I better stop there. Okay, so let's get this straight. We can be operating in higher timelines, in higher vibrations, but yes, there'll be moments where we will feel the emotions that of anger, sadness, tiredness, stress. But some of these feelings of stress can also be managed quite well. So I'm going to go through these powerful ways that you can really cultivate the energy, protect it, and be mindful, just really own it, be accountable. Because the last thing we want is anyone being a victim, because I ain't about promoting victim consciousness, right? Well, no one's a victim out here. We are all creators and we can create our reality. So let's take ownership. Let's take ownership of our energy and let's protect it at all costs, because the more we do that, the more we are in alignment, in a better space, in our center point, and able to call in what we want and be happy. Ultimately, this is all about really just finding that peace, that tranquility, and the happiness. So the first one's about tuning into how you're feeling. It's really important all the time to kind of just understand how are you feeling and be honest with yourself. So do you experience stress, and what are the signs of stress? Do you get quite irritable? Do you get headaches? Do you get tense? Do you get snappy? When you know what kind of characteristics reflect you being stressed out, pay attention to it. And it's just so important, if you can try to do that. We're not machines, right? We're not going to operate like a washing machine and just put the load in and then program, washed, clean, done. No, we're human beings and we're souls living human experiences. So, from one day to the next, you don't know what's going to be thrown at you, right? So you can definitely go into the day setting the intention to have a great day ahead, and calling in those intentions. And I always suggest that, morning rituals to call in a great day ahead. But, we get served things on our day to day, and some of them, unexpected as they can be. So we can't control that, but we can control how we are, looking after ourselves and how we respond rather than react as well. So bear that in mind. So, things that upset you, be aware of those things. Cultivate that awareness, right, of your emotions. And the first step is protecting your energy, not wasting it on stress. So if oh my gosh, this has happened at work today, and oh my God, when that happened last time, that was awful. I can't stand, when we're having to do work like this or get told to do, I don't know, this project without any information, whatever it is. If that's what winds you up, try not to feed it. You know what it is what it is, accept it for what it is, and then kind of pull back and don't feed that anymore. Go and do what you need to do to make yourself feel a little bit more calm and at ease. Maybe that's taking a break, going for a walk, having a cup of tea, just relaxing, deep breathing, right? And I'm going to come on to a couple of techniques as well. that you can just stop and do at any point in the day. Set those boundaries. Boundaries. I mean, it's an age-old thing that I've been talking about, and that I know that everyone, I mean, even the other day, I've set boundaries from way back now. I've had boundaries set from years ago with different family members, friends, whatever. But I've recently, in the last few months, set new boundaries because things were being shown to me that were like, right, well, Steph, you're being called to go into this direction. And in order for you to go into this direction, if this is what you want for your future and this is what you're aligning to, then you can't go in this direction and still be doing what you're doing over here, because those boundaries are not set right, and you're giving your energy over here where that's actually not cultivating you. That's not actually aligning to where you want to go. And I actually had to look at it, and it was so fascinating because that was so unexpected. Shout out to the full moon in Capricorn, because that's what brought it up. And I truly believe, and I'm grateful to all the souls that are in my life, because they all play a role, you know. We all have contracts, and we all agreed to assist in these realizations. And, you know, I was able to realize that and then speak my truth and realize, okay, these are the boundaries that I'm setting. And I was able to speak my truth and say, but I set this boundary because I didn't feel aligned in this situation with you, or I didn't feel safe, or I didn't feel vulnerable, or whatever it was that I needed to say. In other situations, I've realized I was, you know, where you're there and you're supporting people, that's great, but sometimes you need to draw a line. You need to say, okay, that is where I help, but I need to make sure my cup is full. And so whatever that is, right, like, you can say no. You can say, no, that doesn't work for me, or I'm not free this weekend, or just because I was out with you last weekend doesn't mean I'm going to do this weekend, or just because we always do this and that. So whether it's saying no to a situation, you know, with friends or whatever, just make sure you speak your truth. This is the time now. We're getting a lot of throat chakra activation. So if some of you are struggling to speak your truth, in these downloads that we're having with the solar flares, it's been really intense. The sun has been beautiful though. It's really beautiful where I am right now as well. And I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Thank you universe. I mean, I say guys, I mean, I'm talking to the angels and to the archangelic realm, spiritual realm, the ancestors, you know, the team, the Galactic Federation, the squad. So yeah, your needs are really important. So you have to put yourself first. Yes, there is a thing called people pleasing. And if you know that you're prone to doing that, like you're worried about what other people are going to think, then that is something for you to go and look at yourself. Maybe go and journal and think about, what is it? Why do you need to do that? Why does, you know, what does it make me feel like? Why? Give examples, and then give examples of why you feel you need to do it and when you've done it, and really try to unpick it, because only you will know, and that will be a way to kind of tap into the emotions and the feelings of it. Also, mindfulness. This is another great way to limit your exposure to negativity, because negative thoughts can come from your own mind, it can come from others, it can come from watching TV, watching mainstream media. You can pick up negative connotations wherever. Our self-talk is probably the most number one best friend or worst enemy we could all have. So when we know how to train that, that is powerful. And I've got this sort of technique where if something starts living in my head and it starts to try, I'm like, I switch the narrative straight away. I tap into it and I'm like, oh, I see you. And then I start to go into affirmed states of like reminding myself. And when you do it often, and you do it for a very long time, I've been doing it for years now, it becomes second nature. You're not even realizing that you're doing it, but you make sure you pull yourself back on track. But mindfulness is a great way, like say like you're having a really stressful day, you've just had really bad thoughts in your head, whatever it is that's kind of bogging you down, you can basically just take that and go, right, I'm just gonna go and switch off. And you can go and just be in a silent place, just, you know, however tired or stressed you are, and just be quiet, be with yourself, just be, you're not there to think. Mindfulness is all about just being present. You can close your eyes, you can breathe slowly, you know, and don't think, just be there. literally, even if it's just you're looking through your third eye, your eyes are closed and you're looking through the space between your eyebrows and you just see black. You can focus on something that might, make you feel good. So this is the next one, finding that happy place. So, you could, from that mindful state of just not thinking, then when you're calm, really visualize something that makes you happy. My one, when I do like pranayama and I'm doing like breath work and stuff and I'm doing yoga, mine is always a waterfall. If you guys know me from my content on like Instagram and stuff, and anything that I do when I'm posting stuff on my personal page, at Stephanie Desar, by the way, I never promote it, I always promote Divine Feminines, because that's the movement. But you'll notice that I put a lot of pictures with water. I love water, and it gives me such a sense of peace and happiness. Just as such a beautiful feeling. It's probably because I have a lot of water in my chart, but I absolutely adore waterfalls. Like, I'm a big kid. I'm a kid in a candy store with waterfalls, and I've got this like crazy feeling of like going all over the world to see different waterfalls, and I have been doing that, and there's a lot more that I need to see, but yeah, that's the fun of it. But when I can't, I visualize them. So that's my real happy place. Beautiful waterfalls in rainforest, and with beautiful tropical birds and butterflies, and just hearing nature and the water. It is just a beautiful happy place. So wherever that is for you guys, tap into that place. And you could see, as I was explaining my happy place, how happy it makes me feel, and how I'm like, so wherever that is for you, and it could be like anything. It could be, it could be a place, it could be a location, it could be, a cozy spot in your bed. It could be, just moments with family. It could be with, with your dog, with your cat, with an animal. It could just be anything. Wherever that happy place is, just go there and kind of just visualize and just kind of really tune into that. It's a feeling of love. So you're actually tuning in to a vibration of love and happiness at that point. The next one is being mindful of triggers. So, if we're going to protect our energy, a lot of the time when we react and not respond, we're reacting from a place of being triggered, or we're not kind of allowing ourselves to process things, and we kind of just go, and then it's just like we might start being quite combative and might be a bit tense and a bit uptight about stuff. So really protect your energy from wasting that anxiety and that, and I look at myself and I'm like, you're probably all doing it now. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many times where I was being triggered and it was a trigger for me, and I fed into it. I walked straight into that trigger and I gave it all my energy, and then for like 4 hours of the next 4 hours I was crying and I was all over the place, and then I was angry with myself, and then I was telling myself off and cussing myself off, going, why did you do this? So be mindful. I mean, look, we all do it. I've done it loads of times, but now I'm always really trying to be alert, and I'm still probably going to do it again, because we do get triggered in unexpected ways. But the more you're aware of what triggers you, then oh, that's a trigger. Okay, that's why I'm starting to feel a bit, okay, what do I need to do to sort of take that away? If it's like you get triggered with work when they give you a deadline and it makes you feel like overwhelmed, just acknowledge it and then take a step back. And there's so much power in really being aware what is triggering you. Oh my God, it's a deadline. What am I? Well, then the solution there is taking a step back, breathing, and going, right, well, if I organize myself and I set time aside in my schedule like this, then I'm actually owning the situation. If the trigger is someone saying something to you, or if it's social media, I mean, I know social media triggers so many people. It used to trigger me so much, like 5-6 years ago. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how much madness was going on in my head. But that was a place of not being as healed and as evolved as I am now. But it can still be triggering right now. Like, if you don't pay attention to yourself, you can be triggered. You can see what's going on in there, and it could be, someone posts something up, they're talking about something, but you feel it is indirectly at you, but you don't even know the person, but you're just feeling victimized, or it's someone you know, and then you start to read between the lines, or they're talking about something that's upset you in the past in another situation, and then it all just becomes quiet, and then you're fixated on it, and then it becomes just, you're in a spiral, a never-ending spiral, right? So just be aware of those moments. The next one's my favorite. It's creating a sanctuary. So, and I've done this. I've really done this. So in my home, it is such a sanctuary. I have got such beautiful settings that work with who I am, and so the sanctuary for you can be different. Use the decor, the colors, the smells, the scents, whatever brings you sort of that feeling of relaxation. Could be the way that the type of lights you use. Maybe you've got plants and flowers, maybe it's a certain type of decor or color scheme. I touch for my home. I literally cover every single aspect. Every single aspect has got an intention behind it, like totally, it's all connected. That's just aesthetically how I am. I've got a Libra moon, and Libra moons need balance in that sort of home space, especially because that helps with their mental clarity. But a lot of us, we need clean homes, right? So that's actually gonna come on to my next one. But that sanctuary, where if you're having a really long day and then you go home and you're just like, because even when I'm traveling a lot and people are like, but don't, and I'm like, no, because home's wherever I am. Home is wherever I am. But when I do go home, I'm like, I love my home. My home is like a hotel because I've made it into one. I've made it into my little sanctuary. Do you know what I mean? It's my spot. So do whatever you need to do to kind of give yourself that feeling of sanctuary, that haven, that nice feeling, coziness, warmth, just really nice feelings. The next one's a really important one, cleaning your physical and your mental space, because if you're going to cultivate, this center point and be at balance and try to be very mindful, clutter can really create chaos around you. In terms of the energy it brings in, like even if you've got a lot in your physical space of a lot of stuff around, like hoarding, that's also a symbolic, metaphor for like you're holding on to things like in your life energetically, maybe people, situations and circumstances that you need to let go. So having your home space really sort of decluttered, packed away, tidied, organized will also give you a good feeling for your mental space. But this is a very powerful way to protect your energy. Creating that solid, grounded mental state is difficult when you're hemmed up in sides of physical and emotional stuff. That's the kind of environment lends itself more to disorder and chaos and stress. So if your home is like dusty and you've not cleaned and you've forgot to clear out that wardrobe and the dishes are piling up in the kitchen, that is not good. So really clear it out. Get rid of things, and yes, even people. So this is a really important one, because I know a lot of people that are holding on to friends from, I've got this friend, like it's really bad. I don't try to judge, I don't say anything, but in my mind it's like, okay, when I hear people like, I've been friends with my friend for this many years and everything, I'm like, okay, that's great, but sometimes it can be like you do stay friends for like 20-30 years, and that's amazing, but I don't think, honestly, that you can keep all of your friends from 20 or 30 years ago, or whatever it is, 10 years ago, for like forever, as long as you continue life, because we need to experience new things and new people. And if I kept holding on to all of the people that I was growing up with, I wouldn't be here right now on this podcast. Like, honestly, I needed to let go and move. And this is the thing, we should not cling or attach. And if we know it's time to move on, don't wait for the other person, own it. You can still be friends. Like, you don't have to be as close maybe, and you're like, you know what, I'm kind of going in this direction, still got love for you, just not going to be around as much, or whatever it is, right? So just be real with yourself. I know it's hard, but trust me, by doing that, it is really good. Even social media, clean it up, If you've got toxic people on there, unfollow, unfriend. Just it's so worth it. We've on the iPhone, you've got like app time, and I've got it on my phone. So literally, my apps, social media apps, are like set to like a couple of minutes a day, and so I haven't actually been posting loads that much anymore. I've just been taking a chill pill because I am at this space right now where I'm like, oh no, I need to cultivate my energy, and I need to kind of use it in areas that are like calling me to spend my time and my mental space with, and it's not social media right now. And I have been posting because I need to keep the soul tribe updated, but it's the minimal that I'm doing. It's not as much as I could do, but these are the waves. I'm going with what I'm flowing with it. I'm going with what my gut says, my intuition. That's the next one. Trust your gut. Dealing with a person or a situation that feels unhealthy, protect your energy by listening to your instincts. Follow your intuition. If you'll learn who or what isn't good for you, and you know how you feel when you're dealing with them. Like maybe after you've seen them, you feel drained and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Especially if you keep yawning a lot, or you just feel really like your head's heavy and you feel quite weak. You just feel demotivated. If you feel like that after being around someone and it keeps happening, that's probably your telltale sign. And if you don't feel invigorated and empowered after seeing them, then I don't really think that they're the ones to have around you. So think about that as well. Just pay attention and limit your exposure to anything and anyone that causes you to feel off. So really trust that emotional body, your intuition, your instincts. Build a solid social circle. So go towards people and groups. So I'm not saying go out there and just start searching with desperation, but you'll naturally, as you're protecting your energy and keeping your center point, you'll naturally come across others and situations and opportunities where it's aligning and it's more positive, more inspiring, more exciting. And I've allowed myself to do that, and I've met some amazing people on the way there. Like when I say on the way there, I'm just like on the way, on the journey. I've turned up, I went to a wild women's workshop the other day, and it was referred to me by my coach, and I was like, do you know what, I'm doing it. I went there and I had the most exhilarating time. Like I had so much fun. It was amazing. I knew it was going to be great, and the energy there was fantastic, and I met new people, and I was in a really great space. And like just now, not long ago, I met somebody and the energy was just so cool, and I was like, I'm going to stay in touch, and while I'm traveling and I'm out here, I'm going to hook up with them and get to see some spots together or hang out with some other people and just kind of do that. I mean, I trust myself. I know that I'm going to be safe, but it's that, if we kind of keep ourselves stuck doing the same thing with the same people, you are not allowing yourself to expand or your soul to expand. And actually you might be just holding yourself back in quite lower vibrations because those people are not really aligning to where you need to go. So build that solid social circle, and also coordinate opportunities. Like at work, you might work with groups of people that are quite like negative and not so inspiring, and trust me, I get it. Especially when you work in tech and data and stuff, you get some people that are quite introvert. They're not like, they're very, very to themselves, or they're quite moody and moany and just quite grumpy. But I definitely make effort to talk to those and collaborate with those that are very much on my wavelength and that are very inspiring and really go-getter and positive energy and really proactively wanting to work. So I make sure I make time to interact with those people, so I get that balance as well, because otherwise you could find yourself just kind of stuck with certain energies, and you're like, well, you can't do that, it's not healthy and not for anyone. So definitely make those opportunities. And even like a few friends that you've met or new people that you really like their energy and you want to meet up with them again, suggest it. Just put yourself out there, and if you get invited out, don't say no. If you think, oh, actually I did have a really good vibe there, go for it. The next one is called building a wall. Not literally, the Great Wall of China, but like your energetic wall. And it comes to sort of like meditation. I always sort of do this. it's a really like an energetic wall of protection from negative energy, and just clearing your aura, because we all have an aura, right? I will do an episode probably on spiritual energy and going into the spiritual energy and the protection of that, which is kind of really connected to what I'm saying here, but goes into a bit more detail of the spiritual energy and our aura. But really, when you're building this wall, you can visualize, like you could do a meditation, you can call on Archangel Michael. He's also represented by blue light, but also white light, and you can ask for his white light to send a crystalline white light around you, and visualize that. And that's clearing your field, your aura, and cleansing and protecting you. And you can really do that. And there's other ways you can kind of zip as well energy, so you can kind of like give energy to all your chakra centers, asking it for it to be balanced. And at the end of your meditation, zip at the center point where your solar plexus is. The camera is not like down there, but zip. So zip and lock your energy in, and that's a really great way. Another thing I do more physically is I get frankincense. You can take other essential oils, but I like frankincense as like protection, and it also helps to reconfigure your DNA. And I rub it between my hands, and I put it around me, and I call the angels, and I put it at the bottom of my soles of my feet, and I kind of just sort of have it all around me, and that's kind of me cleansing my aura, my field, and my protection. And I call on the archangels at the same time. So that's my little ritual I'm sharing with you guys. But whatever kind of works for you, that's a great way to have that. Starting your day in the morning, it's a great thing to do. And it's beautiful because it really does work. It really does work. The other one is, just simply stop giving your energy away. So if you're feeling drained, it's because you've allowed someone or something to take all that happy, healthy energy away from you. I'm gonna be real, like I'm a very optimistic, happy, fun, positive energy. I have my moments, don't get me wrong, but I am generally very sort of in a high vibration. I'm definitely operating in those frequencies. This is definitely where I'm at, and I've put the work in. But I noticed that there's a lot of lovely people. They're lovely and they really love to be around me, but I don't really like to be around them, because it's not because they're not nice people, it's just because they're not in the best vibration. So when I'm around them, I just get drawn out. And it's not that they're saying anything rude to me or being nasty to me, it's just literally I'm like an energy center that's giving them fuel, and that's not good. So I'm very careful of that. I know that a lot of people like to be around my energy. It's very powerful when we are in good vibration, very high vibration. We are in the master manifester sort of zone as well. So I'm very conscious of that, and that can affect your manifestations. If you're trying to focus in on your alignment and calling in your intentions and being in the best vibration, going with the ebb and flow with your emotions, of course, because you might have those emotional streaks, and of course you will, but you can get pulled off course, because you're giving your energy to others to help them with what they need to be doing for themselves, where they need to be going and giving their self-love, where they need to be going and protecting and cultivating their energy. They're kind of sucking it from you externally. That is a distortion, by the way. And be careful. There's a lot of people out here that are not aware that they're operating in distortion, and they'll say, oh, I miss you, I want to hang out, and all of that. And unfortunately, it's because they just need the energy, and they probably don't have that full consciousness of it, but they probably do at the same time, because they know, oh, so-and-so is really like good vibes. Oh, I'll get great vibes off that. But go and create your own great vibes, and then when you come together, that's even better. But unfortunately, some people just don't do that. So you really have to be mindful. When it comes to saying no and setting boundaries, you have to do what you have to do, right? Not because you should, or because you like, it's not just doing it, oh, because I have to. Like, do it because you mean it. Do it because you want the best for yourself, okay? Like, do it with conviction for you, a difficult idea to put into practice for a lot of us, yeah, but since we tend to want to help our co-workers, friends and family more than ourselves, that's not going to quite cut it. You're not going to get to where you want to go to, guys, if you're always just putting everyone else's feelings and needs before yourself, because this is not what this journey is about, you know, like the self-mastery to really live in your happiest, most fulfilled state and life. You've got to really put yourself first. It really is about that. It is simple as, but it can be hard to get there. When you get there though, it is beautiful and it's very peaceful, and it actually might seem really strange at first. I remember for me it was really strange at first because I was like, it's just so quiet here, there's nothing going on. But that was peace, and that's what I've realized is peace. And I'm so used to it now that if anything comes in, I'm like, but it doesn't, because I'm very conscious about everything. This continues to be work. This continues to be accountability, taking accountability for the energy that you're cultivating and the energy you create and the lifestyle you want. Now, the final one is controlling that ego, because how much energy do you waste reacting to negative influences and just throwing it on things that just don't matter? So it's really being mindful and being aware of your ego and knowing that the ego will try to feed into those things. Oh, you know, because that happened to me before. And the ego goes to like previous experiences and kind of taps into stuff that, you know, not always positive, right? It's like fight or flight. So just be honest with yourself how much you obsess over perfectly putting a picture up, and you need to look a certain way or do something, or how easy you're drawn into an argument or some gossip, or eat your ego at work anytime you react to toxic energy, because there's some, you know, there's stuff that happens at work that's not always great, and you feed into it, and then you let it ruin your day. Just before you react, right, pause and let go your ego and ask yourself first, is this issue even worth your valuable energy? Could you just go, chill out, make a nice matcha with a bit of rose water, because that's what I would do, and just chill, and just go and meditate, you know, under a tree. And nature is a great source of that. You know, you can really just recharge, take off those shoes, take off the socks, get your feet on the bare ground, get your hands on the bare ground, and just recharge, get those ions into your body. That, you know, that is going to be a great way to help you. So protecting your energy is crucial. It's so crucial. Right now, guys, we are all ascending. And ascension isn't like you're going to planet whatever. Ascension is ultimately evolving to get to that space in your life where you are truly living in your authentic self, and you're living in your happiest space, which is cultivated within you. It's not somewhere in Brazil or in Thailand or in Bali. It's actually within you. But you've been taking the steps, making the choices and the adjustments, doing the self-discovery, going within, making changes, setting boundaries, you know, speaking your truth, all of these things, changing your lifestyle, the way you treat yourself, putting in those self-care rituals, healthy lifestyle, all of that, right? That's ascension. That is literally ascension. And that takes you to higher levels of consciousness, which is higher levels of frequency, vibration. And of course, you'll still have emotions, you'll still have that, but your center point starts to get higher and higher and higher. Your center point gets higher. And that's like your new benchmark, your new baseline, right? So I want that for all of us. The more that we can all have that, the more that we can embody and create a solidified new earth. And it is really forming right now. There's literally a lot of shifting between old earth and new earth. And I think a lot of those that are going in the direction of the new earth and doing all this work are being protected as well on top. So if you start doing all of these things, or some of these things that I've mentioned, or more, and you're putting in those practices and you're being really mindful, you get an extra layer of protection, because the universe is like, I see you, and then brings in that extra layer of protection and sort of guards you from like seeing lots of toxic stuff. Then you just don't bump into things like that. Like naturally, you just hardly ever see, touch wood, I hardly ever see anything quite toxic. And just draining. I mean, might just have a glimpse of stuff here and there, but hardly ever. And it's a great place to be, and it still requires me to continually be mindful and be accountable. And I do that because I know the value and the worth of doing that. So with that being said, I hope that these powerful ways to protect your energy have given you some inspiration, have taken you sort of back into a place of going, yeah, I know who I am. I can cultivate my energy and protect it, and I'm not afraid to. So you know what I say, every new day is a new opportunity, a new chance to start something new and to change what you wanted to change and show up differently. So with that being said, sending you love, light, peace and abundance. See you later, Soul Tribe. Take care. Bye.